I'm lying. At least it feels like it, because I don't use some of the modules I recommended in my last minimal modular system must-haves video anymore. And since then I've learned a lot, so I kind of wanted to give a quick update. Keyword, I guess, quick. So I guess technically I am lying now on my forever changing mini system. So this is it now, this here. And over the course of, I want to say maybe about 2 years it's probably been since I started with the Pico. Well, I didn't start with the Pico. I wanted to make a small system. But it's been about 2 years and I've learned a bunch of things. So one, smaller isn't always better when it comes to modules. Yes, this does mean you can fit more modules, but with that, that also brings the possibility of more modules that you won't be using that are taking up space or power or brain bandwidth of potentially bigger and possibly better modules. And two, it's okay to swap modules out for certain tasks. I mean, the damn thing is called a modular system, duh. So I find that sometimes I try to stick to a system. So for example, I usually have the Lapsus Os here by Noise Engineering. It's the 4-slider module thing. And I would use that to perform live, but since I'm not really performing live anymore, I took it out, fit some more stuff, since I'm using it more for sound exploration in my studio. And three, I enjoy this way more than my bigger, massive system, even though I'm in the process of building my bigger case back up since I just got a Metron. But I think this is more just because this is a focused workflow instead of endless possibilities. Okay, so with those three things out of the way, let's make some noise and dive into this thing. Alright, so remember how on one of my points I mentioned that smaller modules aren't always better because they could be a little more limiting even though they afford you a bit more space. This is exactly the thing I was running into when it came into finding 4 HP modules for this case. Specifically, envelopes as well as VCAs or a combination of the two. And this Javelin, which WMD did send over, but they did not tell me what type of video to make, actually fits the bill for that exact example. It's 6 HP, 2 HP bigger, but has a ton more features in it. And actually one of my favorite features on it is this range button. This acts as a more performative style envelope. Here, okay. When Alex told me about this module, if you haven't seen his videos, please check them out. I have a link to them down below. Alex from WMD. I was like, okay, dude, cool. It's an envelope with a built-in VCA. But after getting it, I quickly realized how powerful this thing is because it's very flexible, but just fun to use. So check this. Range. This is a very short range. It's just the range of the envelope itself. You can press it. There's 3 stages. How it elongates. Same thing here. If we turn this up a little bit, we'll go to mode. You hear that? How it's constantly changing? That's just kind of shortening up the type of envelope. Or, hold on, that's throwing me way off. It's not shortening up the type of envelope, it's just shortening the envelope as a whole. So having just this kind of performative thing to keep building up is really fun, as well as the mode switch, which I have enabled. And mode on basically means if you send it just a simple trigger, it will go through the entire stage of the envelope, the attack, decay, sustain, and release. If it's off, this will require an entirely super long gate to actually go through the whole cycle depending on how your knobs are set. So I'll set this to attack, down, we'll go mode on, really short. Let's see if we can get this nice and plucky. Right, again, range, moves it down. But check this. This is where rhythmic modulation, which is one of my favorite things to do, comes into play. Clef Diaz needs no introduction. You've seen this before. It's this video here. If I use the clef to go into the accent, you can see immediately the accent knobs just start sliding up. That's just raising the volume of the built-in VCA. And here, let me throw on a little beat or something here. I have these couple of things. Yo. Okay, I forgot to patch one more thing. I'm gonna send the trigger out of the mimetic into the ping. And then we can like make it super short again. Yeah, see, that range right there is so good. Okay, so for the rest of the patch, it's actually pretty simple. It looks a jarbled mess right now. Purple is all audio stuff. White is all triggers and modulation. Basically, I have this UMIDI sending steppy, which is my typical trigger sequencer here. Clock information, that's being split to trigger everything like the clep, the mimetic, and the Loquelic, as well as the Javelin. And then what else? Reset. I'm just resetting the clip. No, I'm not resetting the clip. I should probably do that. I am now resetting the clip. And I'm also using the reset to just reset the mimetic digitalis. But the reset is actually decoupled from the information that I'm receiving. So mimetic digitalis is still here. I love this thing. It's such a fun way to get randomized musical results because you can load zero shred and get these really cool within a key or within 2-octave range notes. And it's not absolutely wild, because it can be wild if I were to go zero shred. No, not for me. If I go load zero shred, right, it kind of keeps it there. I like that. I can save that. And I just have it in a simple scale. So that brings us on to my next thing, Scales by Intellijel. I almost feel like I can't use my modular system without this thing, because whenever I'm making music, I like it to be a bit more musical. I know it's a subjective term, and I know some people like hitting all the notes everywhere, but I ain't that guy. I like hitting notes that exist in the Western scales or that exist in the sample chops that I'm ripping off of records and stuff like that. So this allows me to tune my oscillator, get it to a point where I need it to be pitch-wise, and then throw on some, I don't know, some random chord. And just have it work. Tight. Let me go ahead. Oh, you know what I want to do? So this little MMF, hold on, dude, you're getting carried away, bro. Okay. After that, clep needs no introduction. Loquelic, Iteritas, Percido. I have so many things I want to do right now. The Loquelic is very crazy. It's so wild. But you can kind of get it into these weird little sweet spots. For example, this. If I were to just open up the filter here, I really just like it for this simple voice. Turn this up a little bit. Nice and beefy. Right? And then I can send the envelope. Almost acts as a filter, but it's not a filter because this is the filter. Right? So, cool. You can get it to be like really crazy and gnarly. I avoid that in most cases, but I do enjoy the flexibility of it because it, again, has an envelope built in, which can then, even though it's just attack decay, that attack decay can be sent to all of these parameters here, and they can also be modulated with either this or the clep or whatever you want, or even the Javelin, because the Javelin can be decoupled and used as just a VCA and just an envelope. But by default, they are combined. They're normal together. After that's the Javelin. After the Javelin, we got the Desmodus, which is reverb. It's really fun. It's huge. I used to use the Monsoon in here. It was a little too experimental for me. Do I still have it? I think I might have sold it. But anyway, the Desmodus is, again, another noise engineering module which can get crazy wild, but if you can kind of tame it, it does sound really good. And then after that, I have the MMF, which is one of my favorite filters. It's such a simple, awesome filter. It has this really good ping CV input, which allows you to just ping the envelope. So in this case, if let's say this is the sound, I can bring this down, but then I have a trigger, which is just triggering the sound, bum, 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 and I can just turn this up. And it'll just ping the filter. But what I wanted to do a second ago was take this and actually get the envelope out of the Javelin. Oh, and don't go into ping. I'm like, what's going on? Awesome. So now the range affects the overall sound as well as the filter sound. Oh, and if you hear those crazy sounds, it is beyond windy right now. It's like my house is just... So, yeah, forgive Mother Nature. And then, of course, the reverb. Yes, sir. Again, it does get kind of almost too wild. Okay, so I want to try... Okay, hold on. Those are the modules I use. I love these modules. Which ones do I swap out the most? The voice. I constantly switch the voices out. Which ones stay the most? MMF, Javelin, which I've had for a hot minute now. It's been a while since I've had this thing. I just haven't been using the modular case that much, but once I got it, I started using it a lot more because I wanted to learn it, and then I started having a lot more fun with it and all this stuff. Memetic, because without the Memetic, I wouldn't have anything to do my pitch. Scales, I need that to put that in line with everything. The clip actually has left the case a few times. Again, because I have two. I have one in the giant case, one in here, or one just kind of in storage. And depending on which voice I use, because sometimes I'll try and fit the massive... the one by Chaos Devices, I called it Zayak or something that one time. The Odessa. Sometimes I'll try and fit the Odessa in here. Sometimes I use the Bassimilis. Sometimes I'll use Surface. So it always kind of depends. But yeah, this is pretty much it. It's very simple, very straightforward. It's just a synth voice, single, monophonic, easy peasy. Get some cool sounds out of it. Can get some very basic sounds out of it. But there's just a lot of rhythmic modulation to be had with a simple case like this. So yeah, I kind of want to just jam out, mess around with some of these modules and kind of explore them a bit more to kind of show them off. And yeah, you're more than welcome to stay. If not, it's all good. I appreciate you coming by either way. If you want to support the channel, sell some eco-friendly merch here. And yeah, until the next time, share the love, share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace. This is so almost cool, but beyond cheesy because of this bass line. So what I want to try is set this to 30 seconds instead of 16ths. Just to maybe get some more little, I don't know, resolution to my playing. Turn the mode off. And then our clep is going here. Yo! That accent. The accent is so tight.